Well, opening weekend here of firearm season in Illinois. Shot a nice buck here this morning. Found him, got the tag on him, and we're gonna show you guys how to field dress a deer. So, I keep my field dressing kit pretty basic. I always like to carry a pack of these long sleeve gloves. I have a folding limb saw that I use for the pelvic bone, and then just a nice sturdy sharp fixed blade knife. One thing to watch out here for is the tarsal glands. Of course, don't rub your clothes on that because it can leave a stain and it stinks really bad. And also don't let your knife touch that as well, just because that can lead to contamination of the meat. Again, take your time here. So I got the right side cut here. Now we're going to cut the left. And see, this is what you want to avoid to cut right here. So basically, we just follow that thin skin on both inner sides of the hams here. That's just a good way to follow that. And again, we just want to take our time and not nick anything we don't need to here. Since I'm not shoulder mounting this deer, I'm basically going to make it easy on myself. And when I make the incision, I'm going to run it all the way up. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is just take the very tip of my knife and just make slight strokes just to barely cut into the body cavity. We're cutting through some layers of fat here and about to puncture the body cavity. Just a slight incision should be good there. Yep. Basically what this does is this allows me to zip up his body cavity here, and making that incision right there really slowly with just the tip of the knife, make sure I don't touch any of the intestines. Again, we had a very clean shot on this deer. He was broadside, shot him through both shoulders, so none of the guts or anything should be messed with. And again, we're going to try to leave the meat as uncontaminated as possible. So again, taking your time at this stage is crucial. So I'm putting my two fingers on the inside of this incision that I made, and basically what that's going to do is guide the knife blade for me. So I'm going to put the knife blade between my two fingers like so, just so that is protecting. Again, the back side of the knife is going to be protected by my fingers so it won't go into the intestines. And I'm just going to slowly but surely just zip up the deer like that until we get past the intestines. Then it'll be a lot easier. And obviously watch out at this point, don't cut yourself. That's another thing you don't want to do. Just be patient and be careful. Nice and easy. Again, watch out for those tarsal glands. As you can see, the intestines are starting to be exposed. This can take some muscle. If you want to, you can use the folding saw at this point, but you should be able to, once you get past that cartilage there, should be able to get through the deer pretty easy. There we go, he cut his rib. So this is the diaphragm right here. It's just a thin layer of tissue that again separates, if you guys can see here, are the intestines, the liver, and then everything forward of the diaphragm is the heart, lungs, and all the other vitals. So if you don't cut the diaphragm, it's going to be very difficult to get everything out. Basically, it's just going to be stuck to the inside of the body. So super important. You basically just run along the inside of the ribs. It's not a tough tissue, but again, you do have to cut it. Then I like to just scoop the internals to one side. Be very careful here. Cut all the way down. Do the diaphragm on this side, on his right side. Again, scoop all the vitals out of your way. Try to get down there as best as possible. This is where the nice sleeve gloves come in handy. Keep all your clothes pretty clean. Okay, so I got the diaphragm cut. Now I'm gonna reach up in there and cut his trachea. And from now on, from this point, everything should be fairly loose. So when you're ready to get all the guts and internals out, whatever is left connected, you can usually just yank on it just very lightly and it should come out fairly easily. So we have all that cut and ready to go. So now I'm going to go back and open up his pelvic bone so that I can get all the intestines out nice and easy. So here we have a little bit left here of just his skin from where the body cavity starts, and then we have the pelvic bone here. So now I'm going to take right in the center of both hams, I'm going to just take my knife slightly and just make an incision until I feel bone. This is going to make me able to spread his hips open like that. And again, this is going to make it a little easier on me. Put my knife away for a second so it doesn't get dirty. And this is where the folding saw comes in handy. Again, other people have different methods, but this is a fairly cheap and easy way to do it. And I'm going to feel his hip bone on the inside there, his pelvis. I'm going to try to, again, not cut any of his internals. Try to scoop those up out of your way. There we go. Okay. So now, when I break this pelvis open, then everything will be nice and easy and it'll have a clear path to get all the internals and organs out. This can be a little bit tricky here. It's best to just start a notch. Perfect. Now we shouldn't need the saw for anything else. At this point, we cut away the genitals. Again, we made a nice clean cut on those. Nothing of the yucky stuff got cut, leaving the hams nice and clean. So we'll put those in the side. Those are free to dispose, of course, with the rest of the gut pile. Now, for the final step, to cut the deer's anus out. Basically, once you cut the anus out, everything should be free on the inside to, again, pull out and leave you with a nice, clean, field-dressed deer. So that's what we'll do now. Basically, what I do is come to the back corner of each ham here and just cut down and around. Cut down and around. Sometimes this is the hard part, to avoid getting your knife a little dirty, but we leave this for the end because after this we shouldn't need to cut any meat. Everything should be free. So now that everything's free, basically I'm gonna open up the chest cavity, reach in, and basically scoop everything backwards. Can be a little tricky. Bring everything right through that incision we made on the pelvic bone.
And your deer is ready to be processed. Head on over to our website at www.learntohuntil.com and check out our other great videos like Ask a Deer Processor. How long should you hang a deer? See you in the woods.